Hi, everybody. So we are going to go over Cami today. This is currently the dashboard. We're just going to look at some of the features that I think are probably the most helpful and maybe that you guys might want to use. Cami can do all kinds of things, which I won't get into today, but hopefully this video can show you some of the really powerful tools that it has and make your life a little bit easier. So first things first, this is the dashboard. If I do a quick scroll, you can see all the things. We currently do not, from my understanding, pay for a subscription. So I'm just using the free version so everybody has access to this. Obviously, if you sign up, you'll have a limited free trial if you've never used Cami before. But you can see some of the recent things that I've done. You can see some of the things are from Google Drive. But jumping right into it, if we go over to Google Drive, I can literally set this up so that my drive opens and I can write on anything and everything that I want to. So let's say that I want to write on a passage that my kids are going to be reading for the lottery. So if I go to here and I open up this specific one, that's the one I want to write on. I can wait for it to load. I can see the lottery. You can actually see I've already written on this one. You can see I can touch these and drag them around. The 1 and the 2 just moved if I want to label that for my kids so that they know exactly which paragraphs are which ones. I can use any of these tools over here. So all of them are right here. Clearly, if it has a little lock button, that means that it is the non-free version. It's the paid version. But what I tend to do, I have the drawing tool. You can change the shape, the color. You can make the eyedropper, anything like that that you want to do. This is really helpful for annotations. The kids can use this. I tend to annotate, like I would have printed this out for the kids, and then I would be annotating live on my board. Now, I know that not everybody uses the smart pens, but if I show you on my iPad right here, I just have my Cami account opened up on here as well. And the cool part that I really like for instruction is if I go to Cami on my iPad, it'll show me exactly the same thing. You can see literally it is identical. Sorry, it's going to be backwards. But I will open this same document on my iPad right here. It's loading. Same document. And then when I take my pen, if I go all the way up to the top, we're on the first page, and I start to draw, I'm going to say hello. It will pop up in just a few seconds. See right here? Now it's on here. So if I want to make my font bigger and I want to say, if I'm having kids think about what they would think of the lottery. So people would say like money. And again, it takes a couple seconds for it to pop up. I just finished writing the word money. I might say winning. Takes a couple seconds to pop up. But again, if I have my iPad shared to the screen, like the big screen, it would be instant. If I have my computer shared to the big screen, it would just take a couple seconds. One thing that is also really cool about this that I'm just going to show you right away, might as well jump right into it. And again, if I'm going too fast, you can always watch this later, but this is just the quick and fast version because we have a lot to go through because this is a great tool. If my kids are annotating on paper or doing anything with a worksheet on paper, let's say you're walking through it with them or you're doing a model or something, we all know that there are the kids that say, I need to move up front to be next to my best friend because I can't see the board or what have you. What I always do, especially if they don't need their iPads for that time, you can kind of mirror their screen by if I click share, and you can do this on any document you have on here. If I click share, I can have anyone with the link. I never want to make the entire class editors. Do not do that. Okay, that is a mess. But if you hit viewer, anyone that's looking at this, you can post this link to your Canvas page or wherever. You can turn it into a QR code on another website if you know how to do that. But this is super helpful because literally walking around the room, all of their iPad screens look just like whatever you're doing. I do this sometimes because the kids can also scroll as need be. So if I'm moving past it and they're still working on an annotation from page 2, they can still scroll to page 2 without saying, Miss Arjani, can you pause? Can you stop? We're going too fast. They can still keep up that way. The other thing that's really helpful is that kids can then download that later and get that. If a kid was absent, you can just print it out for them, or you can tell them go on the link on Canvas to Kami and view the document of everything that you missed. That's for more if you do a lot of modeling in your room, which I tend to do. So I find this really helpful. I'm not sure if anybody is allowed to, or at least uses Google Classroom, but you can create an assignment just from there. That's a huge feature. Honestly, if you use Kami for anything, it's on the free version too. That is what I would recommend using it for. And also your annotations save. So if I would have kept it saying hello, money, and winning, I took those off because I don't want those to stay there. But it would then, if I went back to my drive, those things would stay on there as long as I didn't delete them myself. So I find this helpful because then like next year I can see, okay, what annotations did I do with these kids? How did I do this? Same for like, this is really helpful for math. You could hold your iPad in the back of the room and ultimately teach your class without having to be right up front, because sometimes you're in the way of another student who can't see, or whatever excuse they come up with that day. If we go back to the Kami main page, I can also upload a document from my computer. So this way is kind of nice because it doesn't automatically update, which sometimes we don't always want our blank copies to update. So that's why I like this one. Let's say that I do the same thing. I need to find something. Sorry, you're looking at all my files. Let's see. Okay. Similar idea. Let's say that I open this one. Not sure where my camera went. Let's see, there we go. Sorry. So let's say that I want to mark on this one. So again, if I go on my iPad, because I've put it on my computer, if I go on my iPad, I would now have on my recents, same document would pop up on here just in a second. And then again, if I, let me see how I can do this. If I am writing on here, I'm just going to make a bunch of scribbles. They will pop up in just a second. See, so if I want to do whatever, sorry, this is backwards. Everything that I do within seconds would pop up. So again, whether you have it on Google Drive or what have you. The other thing that's super nice from here is that let's say that you, for some reason, prefer that it goes through your computer and not through Drive. One thing that's nice is that it does automatically save it, but you can click Save Changes to Drive, and it will save this document with these edits on your Drive. Now, for some reason, whenever you upload it from your computer, it's kind of got no spaces on there, which is a little weird. But if you just do a quick and fast spacing out, obviously some of you probably don't care, but I am ridiculous, so I like to change it. And then it could look like that. And then now you have your annotated version. You can also, whether it's Google Drive or from your computer, you can also have like text boxes. If I click on that one, I can just type whatever I feel like. Let's see. For the math people out there, the paid version, which I would love to have access to, but right now we don't, has like equations. So then obviously it's going to probably prompt me to do a free trial. But this is kind of nice because this will show you what it looks like for the math people out there, which is crazy helpful when making your own worksheets, I would imagine, or going over anything. This could be used for any subject anywhere. You could even do like drag and drop. So if you put like text boxes on here and kids had to label something, let's say in health class, they had to label something, parts of the body or something, I don't know. They can drag and drop and move things over. I even use this for my seating charts and all of that. This is really, really helpful, especially because I don't want to write on my seating chart that I print out every single time any notes about any certain students. If I'm out and I haven't been able to be prepared, it's nice to just have a copy of an already written on one that I print out every single week that looks the same. You have shapes, erasers, you can add media only with the free one. You can put like timers and things on there from YouTube. Again, with the paid one, or I meant only with the paid one, I'm sorry. Only with the paid one, you can do the signatures. And again, if you sign up for an account now, you will have access to all of that for a limited amount of time. Dictionary is really nice. All a kid has to do is double click it. Same with the read aloud, really, really nice. Something else that is awesome, I'm kind of thinking as I'm going. So if I go over to tools, I can run text recognition so that if I do have a kid who needs to read aloud, a lot of the times those things won't always read PDFs. So if you run a text recognition, it will literally pull the text forward so that when they run it through their own software, whatever the kid may have, it actually reads every word. Another thing I will point out as an English teacher, let's say there's one bad word in a book and you're trying to turn it into an audio book, and so you're trying to have it read with the software. If I scratch out a word, let's say I use white, because we all know sometimes there's a word that we don't want to read, even if the book is appropriate. Let's say that I scratch out the word purpose. Let's say that I fully scratch it out. Now, when I download this, I can download it as a PDF or whatever I want. The audio that's like reading my screen won't read that word, which is very, very helpful. Additionally, again, I'm just thinking as I'm going. If you want to go in present mode, you can rotate the document. You could even go in 2-page view, which is really, really helpful. I'm going to try and zoom out. My computer is being so slow. Okay, if I zoom out, now I can have it like actually as a book, which is really helpful, especially if you have like a PDF of your textbook or anything. This is really helpful if you don't want the kids taking their textbooks everywhere, or maybe you just assigned something like a light reading. I don't know. This is really helpful. I prefer to look at it like this. Let's see, if we go back to tools, we already kind of did most of that. If you want to export it, you can. Quick download will literally just download it as a PDF. You can print the original without your annotations. I always, because you're making annotations, I always print it with the annotations, but that is up to you. Export is kind of nice. It always says Kami export, and it will create, if you're saving to your Google Drive, it'll create a Kami export folder. So all your Kami stuff is in there. I don't really know why anyone would export the annotations only, because you'd probably want the information that's behind it, like whatever your background was, because it'd probably be a worksheet. But you can either do, again, original with no annotations, with annotations. You could do all the pages, some of the pages. You could download it to your computer. You could download it to your Google Drive. Again, I don't really use OneDrive, but that is what some people tend to use. Let's see. Save changes to Drive. If I want to hit that and I want everything to save, I can. If I want to delete all my annotations, sometimes I delete the annotations after every class. So it's nice that I don't have to like hit my eraser and just erase a bunch of things. Again, open file. I don't usually tend to do it from here, but you could. I do want to show you this really cool feature. You can find this on the home screen as well, so I'll show you how to do that. But in this little toolbox or briefcase, I guess, split and merge is really helpful because you might not want the kids to have every page of everything. So it will take this over to this other side of Kami, continue to split merge, and you can do exactly that. You can either split the document. So let's say you don't want your kids to have access to page 3 because it's not helpful, or sometimes the last page of a PDF document has like the answer key and you don't want to save a new document. You can just take it to here. Sometimes it takes a minute, but let's say I go from Google Drive. You can go from your computer too. Doesn't matter. Let's see if I can find the document I was working with earlier. Okay. Let's just say that this is the one that I want to use. Maybe. Okay, that took a second to load, but this is what it would look like. You would click next, and then it would open this cool little thing, and you can literally pull the pages out that you would not want. So I can remove page 4, and I can drag it down here so that now it's separated, or whatever you need. So again, let's say that I'm printing this document and I don't want to run the printer with all the ink from this first page because it's a whole image and we don't need that. On the digital version, I might keep this because who cares? But on the printed version, just to be respectful, I might remove that because it's not necessary. There are no real necessary words on there. And then if I split it, let me go ahead and do that. If I split it, I can export just this, or I can export this. Let's say I hit export. I can either, again, Google Drive, I can do it straight to my files, or I can open it in Kami if I have not yet written on it and I still want to write on it. And then you just hit continue, it would download. This is really, really helpful, especially, again, if you do have like a big, ginormous document of the PDF of your textbook and you want to separate it into chapters, you can just put it in here. Also, if you have, let's say, 2 different worksheets that you want on one digital document, you can go over to the merge mode, which is just right up here. And let's say that I have 2 or 3 documents that are just 1 or 2 pages each. Same thing, it's going to have you merge them all together. You can pick the order, you can play around with it, and then hit export. So those are all really great tools from Kami. I'm trying to think of if there was anything else that I wanted to show you. Yeah, so I remember 2 of the things. If you go to the Kami library, I don't really use this, but it just kind of depends on your needs. I wish I used this because it's great, but they have like different templates and things that other people have created. Cornell Notes, I know some people use that, again, rather than like drawing your own set of Cornell Notes. You could just do it this way and then give the kids a blank copy, and then you are actively writing it on your screen because you shared that link. You could write it on your iPad. It would project. I don't even feel like you have to be very techie to take a lot of this on. Again, if you feel like you do, you can just go back in this video and rewatch it. But like all kinds of stuff. You can separate it by grade level, but I will say most of the time when people upload templates, they don't specify a grade because it probably could work for all of them. So that might kind of limit your options. But like if I click on math, I don't know what's going to come up. But if I click on math, they have all kinds of different things. They have graph paper. On the paid version, one thing that is nice is if I want to add a page, I can. On the free version, you can't add a page, but again, a lot of the times you would just be uploading whatever document you want to use anyway. And there are some hacks and things around that, but you could also just, again, blank page. You just want one blank page to write on as your whiteboard and you're walking around the room. Great. I have not messed around with much of the AI stuff because, again, I have used my free trial, so that won't work. But the only other thing that I was going to show you was the Kami extension. So if I go to my drive and I look up, I'm just going to go back to that lottery document. If I go back to my drive, maybe everything likes to take a while to load these days. Okay. If I want to go to this document, if you download, or yeah, I guess download. If you download the Kami extension, one of 2 things will happen. You can, sometimes the Kami extension will pop up right here and it's purple, or other times you can hit annotate with Kami right here. And then that will literally pop this over to a Kami document. That's kind of just a quicker way to get there if you don't want to go through the main homepage. So I think that's everything. If I left anything out, I might make a follow-up video. I don't know. If you have any questions, let me know. Again, the main thing I use it for, it is a great tool to project, and I love walking around my room. Sometimes I'll even give my iPad and my iPad pencil to a student and have them write on it, and they really tend to get engaged that way. So that's all. Thanks.